had another thing that I was working on here. This is more for the 924Cs, and it has to do with kind of walking people through. It's a visualization exercise of sorts, and this is something that I'd like to record about. We've made the transition from tough on crime to smart on crime, and there's a lot of great rhetoric right now about how things are changing, but the reality still is that guys who come into the federal system, they feel lucky when they get 10 years. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
we're talking about finding ways to give guys a couple extra days a month, good time, but they're still giving out crazy sentences. And although it's now being driven by, what's being termed fiscal conservatism, you would think that there's a deeper moral obligation to pursue some, the inequality and injustice to try and remedy that which currently exists within the criminal justice system. And when you look at sentences like those of us who have the ridiculous 924C sentences that have been stacked on top of each other that, result in multiple decades in prison, most people can't really put that into context. But if you were to start out, if you were to take somebody at 5 years, and say, hey, well, think of where you were 5 years ago. What were you doing with your job? If you have children, think about the age of your children. If they were 5 years younger, what were they doing then as opposed to what they're doing now? Were you living in the same place? Did you have the same car? How many things have changed in 5 years? Technology, look at smartphones and tablets. The advancement of that is relatively recent. 10 years ago, there was no Facebook.
Yeah.
There was no eBay. These things, the internet was just beginning to evolve as we know it. Google was still somewhat of a startup back then. 10 years, a decade, seems like a lifetime to most people. Yet, it's a fairly common sentence within the federal system. If you take that a step further and you go to 20 years, I've met a lot of individuals in this system who have already completed 20 or more years in the system, and that's decades, and dramatic changes have taken place out in society. And for them personally, think about the life changes that you go through over the course of 20 years. You come in on average, in your early 20s. Think about if you had just gotten out of school, gotten out of college, you're joining the workforce, and to where you are now, say 20 years later, 20 plus years. Those are substantial life changes. The whole maturation process that occurs over the period of that time. Think about your 20-year high school reunion. My God, how much people have changed. To incarcerate someone for that length of time is a life-altering event. That's time that cannot be replaced or given back. And it's something that I think is not taken, not
This call is from a federal prison.
given as much weight as it should be in considering penalties. Then we go even further, 30 plus years, or in a case like mine, I have a 213-year sentence. I came in at 24 years old. If I lived to the average life expectancy, I would be expected to serve 50 plus years in prison for a string of robberies that only carried a sentencing guideline range of 97 to 110 months, 8 to 9 years. So it seems pretty ridiculous. And mine is a common sentence. There are plenty of individuals, similar situation, with even far longer sentences than mine, hundreds and hundreds of years, simply because they wouldn't cooperate.
The Strong Prison Wives and Families community is a group of extremely positive, supportive, caring, and loving people dedicated to helping one another through this journey. Go to www.strongprisonwives.com, leave a comment, and join in on the conversation now. Also, check out our blog section where you can read daily thoughts from fellow wives and family members. Hop into the action by posting comments or your own blogs too. If you want even more support from all over the world, plus inspirational stories and insights from a lifer's wife who's been doing this a long time that I only share in my private video section, go sign up now. Again, this is Ro, co-founder of Strong Prison Wives and Families. Keep staying strong, keep loving strong, and sharing your support with our community. Lots and lots of my love to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the site.